Am I the a-hole for asking my neighbor to wait for her laundry at her house? Yesterday, after I picked my son up from school, my neighbor flagged me down in the driveway to ask me if she could use my laundry machine because hers was broken. I said sure, because she's my neighbor. While she was in her house gathering her laundry, I made grilled cheeses for myself and my son. When she came over, I showed her where the machine was. After loading the machine, she came into the kitchen. My neighbor asked if she could have grilled cheese. I might just be a dick, but I thought that was a ridiculous thing to ask. I told her I only made 2. She asked why I did that since I knew she was coming over. Because she was coming over for laundry, not grilled cheese. My son offered her half of his. I always put an egg in my grilled cheese sandwiches. She bit into it and was grossed out by the egg, which she should have seen before she bit into it. She then asked where my trash can was. My son said, "Don't waste food." So she just handed the sandwich back to him. I told him to switch halves with me and then bin the sandwich half when he wasn't looking. She asked to use my bathroom, which I of course agreed to. She came back to the kitchen after and asked if I had any refreshments. I said no and suggested that she wait for her clothes to finish at home. She asked if I was trying to get rid of her. I said we needed to get started on homework. She said she didn't mind. I said we needed to keep distraction to a minimum. She said, "Well, I know when I'm not wanted," and left. When she came back to switch her clothes to the dryer, she was very irritated. I apologized for hurting her feelings. She said it didn't matter, but she sounded angry. Then she left. I feel bad, but I also feel annoyed, because who acts like that? Some of OOP's comments. Anon do do do, NTA. Is she elderly? If so, she is probably lonely. Or she might just be very nosy. OOP. I think she's in her 30s. Maybe a hot early 40s. Also, she's married and has kids. C. Operation 6123. How close are you with this woman? Has she been in your house before? Do y'all socialize? This whole thing is very strange. NTA, let her be upset. If she doesn't get why she was rude, you're not going to be able to explain it to her. OOP. I actually just moved here last month. I think I've spoken to her maybe twice. This was her first time coming into my house. I also think it was strange, to be honest. Machi 7227. She wants to be in your life. Are you a guy or a lady? OOP, a guy. Mango Jetter, OOP. She's married. And she's at least 10 years older than me. COA stitches art. Well, people can still cheat even if they are married. She was super entitled and weird. OOP. Oh, I know. Been there. Yeah. I really don't want her around me either way at this point. Beth 21286. Whoa, Nelly, does that woman need to learn some basic manners? Clearly she didn't know when she wasn't wanted, but hopefully she does now. Yeesh. I hope you explained to your kid how ill-mannered she was and to never behave like that in other people's homes. OOP. Yeah, she put me in an awkward position with him. Obviously, I want a model for him to always be polite and welcoming, but there is a limit. It's a more nuanced situation than a 5-year-old can probably grasp. Update post. Next day. I have a tiny update about my weird neighbor with the broken washing machine. She came back. I know 90% of you said to never let her back in the house, so you are probably going to judge me heavily. In my defense, I was a little flustered by the whole thing. She waved me down again when we were walking up to the house. She said to wait because she had something for me. I waited because I'm stupid. I figured she would just knock on the door anyway if I didn't. She came back with a pie that she said was thanks for using my washing machine. I said thank you, and she didn't have to. She said, "Let's go inside and try a piece." I said it was almost my son's nap time. She said, "Great. We can eat pie while he naps." A lot of you said she might have been interested in me, and that was still in my head. So I said, "Yeah, and you should invite your husband over too." I was expecting that to deter her. Nope. She got very excited. She said, "That's a great idea. Here, you take the pie in, and I'll go get him." So at that point, I'm internally thinking, what the foo? My son and I went inside. I started cutting pieces of pie because at this point, I felt like a victim of fate. She came over with her husband. I have never seen a man that looked as exasperated and embarrassed as this guy. We ate pie, and the whole time she asked me weird questions while her husband looked annoyed. Every once in a while I would say something, and she would give her husband a look. He kept pretending not to see the looks. After we finished the pie, she asked if I had coffee. Her husband said, "Honey, he wants to put his son down for a nap. Let's go home." She said, "Oh, he doesn't mind." Her husband said, "He minds," while he took her elbow and started leading her out the door. She kept insisting that I didn't until they were outside. I gotta say, I think I'm in love with this guy. As weird and annoying as the whole thing was, I feel a lot better about my neighbor now. Some of the comments had some pretty crazy speculation that made me a little nervous. Now that I've met her husband, I'm pretty sure she's just bored, which is fine. It's annoying, but not creepy. So to all the people who were worried she was trying to seduce me or spy on me or steal from me, don't worry. Based on her husband's reactions, she's just like this. Some of OOP's comments. Empowered 21. Obventier, but sounds like you've made a new buddy. He definitely goes through it on the daily, judging by his actions. Hey, at least you got some pie out of it. OOP. This is going to sound so bad, but the pie wasn't that good. Way too much sugar. To another commenter. It wasn't that great. To answer the question below, it was an apple pie. It was canned filling and had way too much sugar. It wasn't the worst pie ever, but she didn't even do a lattice crust. That's like the whole point of making a pie. Complete _ general _ 546. Okay. Are you a super interesting person? I was thinking it was your neighbor, but now I'm curious if you were just really intriguing. People are always asking my husband and I questions, and I realized this after I was like, why are there always freaks who try to be friends with me, haha. OOP. Not really. I'm divorced. I have a kid. She seemed really zeroed in on that topic. I think divorce is actually pretty common, but maybe not in her social circle. My son and I are in a minority group. Not a super interesting one or anything though. Northwest direction. Oh shit. She absolutely wants to set you up with someone she knows. OOP, no? I don't want a rebound girlfriend. I don't want to be one of those guys. Hung white boy, 25. Absolutely. But not gonna lie, Op was kind of an idiot inviting the husband over too. OOP. I figured if I said that and she was freaked out, proof that she has bad intentions. If I said it and she wasn't, I don't need to worry about her trying to seduce me. So at least I now have that peace of mind. Willow's Quest. Some suburban-type women have a slight fixation on the notions of kids and motherhood. If your neighbors have their own kids. Part of me assumes not if she has time to be doing all this LOL. But maybe she has some half-baked subconscious idea about being a feminine influence for the poor divorced man and his motherless son LMAO. Not in a "I'm gonna be your mom" way, but in the slightly bored, maybe well-intentioned busybody neighbor way where she'll assume, well, some woman has to get involved in their lives, so it may as well be me. As though being a woman within proximity confers a natural positive influence, with a woman's touch, in the sense of, she'll happily rearrange your couch pillows if you let her. Or something. She might also just be weird and a general bad at social cues way LMAO. OOP. I think this is it. I'm pretty sure her kids are teenagers. So maybe now that her kids are at the leave me alone age, she wants a project. Based on her behavior and a lot of the comments, I feel this is most likely. Fornicate 777. Stay with me. Is she white and are you a minority? OOP, yes. Mango Pango 123. I am so curious because I have been going through the comments and can't find any about this part of your story, but can you please give me any examples of the weird questions she asked you? And why were they looking about? I hope you see my comment because I don't know why, but I really want to know LMAO. OOP. Mostly stuff about my divorce. I'm not salty about my divorce, so it didn't hurt my feelings, but she didn't know that, so I thought it was rude/weird. She wanted to know how long ago I got divorced, where we used to live, why I moved, why I have primary custody, what school my kid used to go to, what my ex-wife does for work, how she feels about not being the primary parent, nosy stuff. She also asked why we got divorced, which I didn't have to answer because her husband actually cut her off on that one. He said, that's a private matter, and she dropped it.